WFVX.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the latest on the officer-involved shooting in Dexter that left 2 officers and a suspect in the hospital.
Plus, the Lewiston Mass Shooting Commission is learning how complicated the health system for the Army Reserve can be.
And we caught up with the officer who has been walking a beat in downtown Bangor to see the impact he's having on the community.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. We'll have all the day's news coming up in just a few minutes. But first, that important forecast. We've got a holiday coming up this weekend. Father's Day, of course. Don't forget dear old dad. Luckily, it looks like the weather's going to be great for Father's Day. First, we have to get through a little messy stuff.
Yeah, if you want to fire up the grill, it looks like a great day for it.
Sounds perfect.
Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Already, a small crowd advisory remains posted until around 11 p.m. this evening along the coast here because of active surf that will be expected with gusty winds that will be picking up today with a system that will be passing through. Thankfully, no fog to worry about this morning. We've been watching that the last few mornings, and thankfully this morning we are looking pretty good. Radar and satellite is showing some rain tracking from the southwest going to the north and east from last night early this morning. We'll be watching for more showers and thunderstorms that will enter the picture later on today and especially this afternoon. And some of those this afternoon could get on the stronger side, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. More of that coming up in your full forecast. But for now, we're watching showers and storms in some parts of the northeast, tracking from the west and going toward the east. And again, as we get the daytime heating going, more of these storms will be firing. So again, some showers possible today, more storms possible this afternoon to early evening. Notice that we lose the activity overnight, but maybe a small chance for a shower along the coast as we head towards early Saturday morning. The winds will be active out there today out of the southwest at around 10 miles per hour or higher at times. Some gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour can't be ruled out. Winds calm down tonight, but they might pick up a little bit for the daytime tomorrow. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing showers and thunderstorms possible. Temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. A woman from Bar Harbor was killed Thursday after crashing a moped into another vehicle. Police say the driver of a pickup truck was stopped in traffic at the intersection of Route 102 and Gilbert Farm Road around 2:45 Thursday afternoon. He noticed the moped coming up quickly behind him, attempted to pull to the right to avoid being hit, but the moped ended up striking the back of the vehicle. Police say 52-year-old Anita Birdzell was thrown from the moped. She was rushed to a local hospital where she was later reported dead. Officials say excessive speed and driver inattention was the cause of the crash.
Meanwhile, police say alcohol appears to be a factor in a crash in Woolwich that injured a woman and her 4-year-old son. Authorities say a Toyota RAV4 driven by a 31-year-old woman from Bath went off the road around 7 o'clock Wednesday night. She ended up crashing into a cluster of trees along Middle Road. The woman had to be pried from the wreckage and was airlifted to a hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The 4-year-old boy was also taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Police say it appears that the woman was not wearing her seatbelt and was also under the influence of alcohol.
New details this morning on a police-related shooting in Dexter. That's where 2 police officers and a suspect were injured following a violent altercation early Thursday morning. As a warning, this story contains graphic video of the shooting that may not be suitable for all audiences. Devin Dagnall has more.
According to a press release sent out by Dexter Police, Chief Kevin Wintle and Sergeant Gary Morin were dispatched to Spring Street around 2 a.m. for a man acting erratically. They say when officers arrived on scene, they spoke with 34-year-old Christopher Hongo, who was reportedly yelling and acting aggressively. The release says officers attempted to take Hongo into custody, but he resisted and allegedly assaulted both officers. Video taken from the night of the shooting shows officers tasing Hongo before he pushes them both down a rock wall. Dexter Police say Sergeant Morin shot Hongo. All 3 men were taken from the scene and treated for their injuries. The owner of the property where Hongo was shot, Nixon Rio, says he has known Hongo for some time now. He says Hongo was never a tenant, but he was regularly around and usually in good spirits. But over the past month, a notable change has occurred in Hongo's behavior.
Out of nowhere, he was, or even his girlfriend, like I say, she was afraid of him.
According to Rios, Hongo had become aggressive and argumentative to the tenants. It was at that time Rios said he had told Hongo he was no longer welcomed at the property.
That's when I make my mind, look, he's got to go, because if his girlfriend is saying that she's don't feel safe and she's staying with another relatives because of it, I can't have him.
Rios says he attempted to file a complaint against Hongo with Dexter Police Wednesday, but was unable to find anyone to help him. Hongo is currently being treated at Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor. Both officers have been discharged from the hospital and placed on administrative leave. The Attorney General's office is investigating the situation and the officers' use of deadly force. In Dexter, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, a Connecticut fugitive wanted for manslaughter has been found here in Bangor. According to the U.S. Marshal Service, 41-year-old Walter Lawson of Bridgeport, Connecticut, was apprehended at a Bangor hotel. The U.S. Marshal Service's Maine Violent Offender Task Force says that their Maine and Connecticut branches worked together on the arrest. Lawson is reportedly being charged as a fugitive from justice and will be arraigned here in Maine pending his extradition back to Connecticut.
A Skowhegan man has been convicted of robbing a convenience store in Madison. A jury found 35-year-old Raymond Ellis guilty yesterday following a two-day trial. Officials say he and two others held up the Big Apple in Madison in August. According to the Morning Sentinel, it took the jury about an hour to find Ellis guilty of robbery, criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon, and theft by unauthorized taking. He's expected to receive his sentence in July.
The commission investigating the Lewiston mass shooting got the chance to learn more about the complicated health system of the Army Reserve. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard with that story.
We have commanders, if you will, that may not be familiar with healthcare.
Colonel Mark Ochoa serves in the Army Reserve Psychological Health Program, a service to help link soldiers, commanders, and healthcare providers in order to facilitate behavioral health services for soldiers. Colonel Ochoa spoke with the commission investigating the Lewiston mass shooting. He was not authorized to talk about specifics related to Robert Card, the reserve soldier who committed the tragedy. Instead, he offered his expertise in navigating the complex health system of the Army Reserves.
Unfortunately, many of our reserves brothers and sisters don't have medical insurance, and so that's really what PHP does, is help link those up with those resources so that we can take care of folks.
Another difference between active duty and the reserves, Colonel Ochoa explained, is the fact that active duty commanders have authority over their soldiers 24/7, where reserve commanders only have authority during times of duty.
Then command directed, yeah, there's not that authority as there is in Compo 1.
Colonel Ochoa was asked if there was still a stigma associated with asking for help for mental health in the military.
Is that a concern that might inhibit commanders or reservists from reaching out?
Of course, the answer is yes.
The commission is expected to release their final report sometime this summer. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bichard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed the first fatal case of Powassan virus infection in Maine this year. They say the death occurred in York County and was one of 3 cases of Powassan reported in Maine residents so far this year. The other 2 were in Kennebec and Lincoln counties. Cases of Powassan are rare in the United States, with only 20 to 50 cases per year across the country between 2018 and 2023. People can get Powassan through the bite of an infected deer or woodchuck tick. Symptoms can include fever, vomiting, headache, weakness, and seizures. However, many people who are infected with Powassan do not get sick or have any symptoms.
Well, a Maine lawmaker and former campaign manager for congressional candidate Mike Sobolewski resigned on Wednesday, saying he, quote, can't be part of anything that supports Austin, Ontario. Representative John Andrews, a Republican from Paris, posted to Facebook that he is retiring from politics after Representative Mike Sobolewski's loss to Representative Austin Theriault on primary day. His statement reads, quote, Paris voted for Theriault. That made up my mind. I'm sorry, but I'm done standing up for anything in this community. I'm officially retired from politics. This absolutely disgusts me. Sounds like he was taking some shots on the way out because his term limits, his term has come to an end anyway, and the legislative session is closed. But like I said, on the way out, he wanted to take a few shots to support his friend.
That is convenient.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 8:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, residents are shocked that a major road in Southwest Harbor is still disrupting life for the local community.
We'll have the latest on that situation, but first, another check of your forecast. A cloudy day ahead today with a chance of scattered thunderstorms. Some could be strong, too. The high's up near 77 degrees. Thunderstorms overnight with lows dropping down to the upper 50s. Tomorrow, the showers wrap up in the morning. Otherwise, Saturday will turn out to be a partly cloudy day with highs near 74. We'll be right back.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Are your basement walls bowing, crumbling, or failing? Hi, I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. All things basementy. Our Stable Lock wall system offers a patented, affordable, and permanent solution to save your foundation walls. It stabilizes, fills voids, and structurally repairs, leaving a new smooth surface. All the strength of new walls. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
In 10 years, Lisa Schneider will have an amazing second act, thanks to career reskilling courses from AARP to help make sure her income lives as long as she does. The younger you are, the more you need AARP.
Next Jeopardy!
Today's Jeopardy is all about rising above.
Easier said than done against this 12-game super champ and her winnings of almost $300,000. Can she be stopped?
We don't know.
Next Jeopardy!
Tonight at 7:30 on Fox 22.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
You're gonna love this.
Buckle up, big boy.
Only 3 out of 10 Americans got this question right.
Release the ball! This is MasterChef Generations.
The more worried you are, the happier I am.
So far, our contestants have won over $10 million.
I love this show! That's what I want to hear.
Welcome back, everyone. The Bangor Police Department recently reintroduced their downtown walking beat after years without an officer patrolling the area on foot. Our Grace Blanchard caught up with the new officer who has taken on the role to see how the community is responding.
If you've walked around downtown Bangor in the past few weeks, you likely have seen Officer Keith Larby, who has taken over the downtown walking beat.
You'll see me on foot walking around, checking in with businesses, talking to folks that are down here, and just trying to do my best to keep the downtown area safe and a fun and friendly place for people to come and patronize businesses and enjoy the area.
He says there is a great need to have a more personal police presence along the streets for businesses and community members.
It's not like it's some big secret that we have some issues down here. We've got some folks experiencing homelessness, some people experiencing issues with drug addiction and mental health and things like that.
The program has been suspended for several years now due to staffing issues, but Officer Larby says since taking on the role, he has already received positive feedback from the community.
The reaction to me being down here has been overwhelmingly positive. Everybody, the business owners, the employees, and the people who have seen me around here, it's been truly an unbelievable welcoming to me.
Many businesses say they feel more safe having an officer on the streets.
It's nice just to have a presence downtown. I think it does help people feel a little safer when they're walking on the streets, and it's also just nice to have a friendly face in downtown.
Officer Larby says he will be on the patrol all year round and encourages anyone to approach him if they see him around.
It's been a really wonderful experience and it hasn't slowed down one bit. I think it's going to continue and I'm really looking forward to being down here.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A fairly quiet yet iconic piece of Seawall Road in Southwest Harbor has been closed to commuters since the January storms, causing frustration among those who live and work in the area. The road runs through Acadia National Park property, and while the park has repaired its campground and picnic area, restoration to the road is Maine DOT's responsibility. According to MDOT's Director of Communications, the department is considering three possibilities. Letting the sea reclaim the road and keeping the detour that's currently in place is one. The second is restoring the road to what it was before the storms. And the third option is rebuilding it differently so it's more resilient.
We're shocked that it's even gotten to this point, that we're in mid-June and this stretch of land is not open.
On the 27th, Maine DOT will host a public meeting at the Pemedic Elementary School to discuss their options for the storm-damaged portion of the Seawall Road.
Well, after weather that inevitably brings power outages, folks tend to ask, why not bury Maine's power lines? Well, state regulators say they'll be looking closely at ways to better prepare the grid in the face of climate change. Mal Meyer reports.
In the face of climate change, state regulators will be considering what can be done to prepare communities and the power grid.
We're looking at a lot of different things.
There's technology that could reduce outages.
Things like sort of undergrounding power line.
In the past, it's been an expensive idea, and still is.
But as you start to see more severe storms, there may be places around the state where it makes sense now.
Our priority are major streets because the benefit there is the biggest.
Since the early 90s, the city of Anaheim, California, which has its own power utility, has been burying power lines. 66% are now below its streets.
So in the east, we have prioritized undergrounding utility lines to prevent fire risk.
This also helps with the mundane, like cars hitting poles and wiping out power.
Since 1990, we have had a 4% assessment on all of our utility bills, and that creates a fund.
Overall, it's taken $400 million to do this work. Has the benefit outweighed that cost?
Yes, it has. You can almost take it for granted that you're going to hit a light switch and the power will be on.
We are trying to invest in the grid.
We asked Central Maine Power if the company has considered this option.
We're focused right now on actions that we can take.
CMP says that includes submitting a climate protection plan to the state, which looks at risks to the grid.
We can build the solutions that will be needed to resolve these storms.
Is burying the lines part of that?
Again, we're working on this plan to identify risks to the grid and quantify them.
Reporter Mal Meyer reporting.
Yep. All right, the time now is 8:17. After the break, Florida is bracing for the already substantial flooding to get worse as rains continue.
We'll have that story and more as Good Morning Maine continues, along with your local forecast. Don't go away.
A new deck is a great, affordable way to improve your home or camp. Hammond Lumber Company can help you create the perfect deck for your outdoor space. Visit Hammond's product showroom and explore their extensive range of decking and railing options. Your Hammond sales rep will be happy to help you with your materials and design choices, and Hammond delivers from any of their 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Make this the year you enjoy that new deck you've always wanted. It starts when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again.
Lowry & Associates can be your lawyers, and there's no fee unless they win money for you.
We don't get paid unless you get paid. We call it the Lowry Guarantee.
You got nothing to lose. Just call the twos. They win or it's free. That's the Lowry Guarantee.
Lowry & Associates settled my case for $300,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
There's a way to cut your dishwashing time by 50%. Try Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. It removes 99% of grease and grime in half the time. It cleans so well, you can replace multiple cleaning products. Try Dawn Power Wash.
Oh, another morning to savor the crunchy nooks and cranny splendor of a Thomas's English muffin.
Tom, which is a nook and which is a cranny?
That's a nook, cranny, 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 nook, cranny. I mean, they should be teaching you this in school. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
Had enough of long lines, empty shelves, and overcrowded megastores? Discover Parity Shop and Save in Brewer, your local culinary oasis in the North Brewer Shopping Center. Revel in fresh produce, pantry must-haves, organic delights, and Aroostook County's beloved products, all affordable and high quality. Can't find an item? We'll special order it. Shop with us today and feel the difference of our family-run, community-focused grocery experience.
At least 2 people have died after torrential rains led to a multi-car pileup near Naples, Florida. Flash flooding left drivers stranded on roadways, and some people were removed from their homes by boat. And now officials say the danger isn't over yet. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley with more.
Overnight, the National Weather Service sounding the alarm. Again, life-threatening flooding possible for a large part of South Florida through this morning. More water is not what they need here. In Collier County, more than 2 feet of rain has fallen. Police say 2 people in the area were killed after a driver lost control, causing a multi-vehicle crash. In Hallandale Beach, where more than 20 inches has fallen, residents attempted to clean up even as the rain fell. For one driver, it was hard to tell where the road stopped.
Crews are pulling that car out of that canal right now. The woman who was driving the car says she didn't realize there was a body of water there. Just look, it's basically even with the street level. She thought she was turning onto another street. Instead, she plunged right in.
That woman crawled out her window. In Miami, the streets lined with abandoned vehicles. Tow truck driver Leo Alonso telling our team his phone has been ringing nonstop.
I don't even answer anymore.
Really?
I don't even answer. It's too much.
Some homes still drying out.
Frogs, flying bugs everywhere.
That's what Darla Castillo says the water brought inside her home.
We were scared. We ended up staying in the living room because we didn't feel safe in the bedrooms if the water was coming in from all sides.
But some are taking advantage of the situation. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
There, as you know, there are a lot of canals down there too, and they've got critters in them.
Right.
Alligators, there's all kinds of snakes around there.
Yeah, no thank you.
I wouldn't want to have to deal with that.
Nope. I would not be floating if I could avoid it. All right, the time now is 8:22.
Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local LoadRide authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Alrighty, here we go. Small crowd advisory is up along the coast until 11 p.m. this evening because of active surf that will be expected with gusty winds that will be picking up across the region today. Wave heights are already showing that they're active out there at around 3 to 4 feet. We might see these increase just a little bit more as we'll be watching for gusty winds that will be moving in and some of those stronger storms that could be on the way later today as well. But for now, though, we're just seeing some showers across the northern parts of the state. More activity off toward the west. We'll have showers passing through this morning and the parts of the afternoon. Then some stronger thunderstorms possible late afternoon as well. Some of those could produce some gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours with them as well. But for now, just watching showers and a few rumbles of thunder in the northeastern parts of the U.S. Other areas across the Midwest seeing showers and storms developing this morning. A lot of this tracking from the west to the east and some of this from the northwest to the south and east as well. But for now, though, Futurecast showing showers possible for us this morning and again this afternoon. Some storms possible during the afternoon period with the daytime heating. We'll hold on to the clouds overnight as the showers and storms back off. A slight chance for a shower as we head towards early Saturday morning, but notice so we get that and the clouds out of here pretty quickly and the rest of Saturday looking like a very nice day. And then once we head towards Saturday night under a mostly clear sky, so Saturday night looks to be rather peaceful. Otherwise, though, there's a storm chances coming in later this afternoon. The green area indicates a marginal threat for the storms to turn strong to severe, so a 1 out of 5 risk. The yellow shaded area is a 2 out of 5 risk or a slight risk for storms to turn strong to severe. So again, gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours are possible in these areas coming up today. Otherwise, though, rainfall could also be a thing as well. Some spots could possibly reach up to a half an inch before we're all finished up, while other areas maybe not as much, maybe a quarter of an inch or less possible before we're all finished up. The rain will be scattered in nature today. Otherwise, though, we will have moisture for the rain to work with as well. Dew points today, it'll feel a little humid out there at times with dew points reaching to the 60s, maybe getting close to the 70s at times. Will improve for the weekend. Then once we get towards next week, here we go again. Dew points back in the 70s possibly yet again, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. So a forecast coming up for today, upper 70s, scattered strong to severe thunderstorms. Can't be ruled out. The threat not very high, but we'll have to keep an eye on it with hail and some gusty winds and heavy downpours possible. And at south wind getting up to around 25 85 miles per hour at times. By tonight, some thunderstorms possible early, then becoming mostly cloudy with lows in the upper 50s and the wind becoming light and variable. And for tomorrow, here we go. Highs in the mid-70s. Some isolated morning showers can be ruled out. Otherwise, partly cloudy. It gets better later into the afternoon with the north wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour. All right, let's check out that extended forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth. On Father's Day, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-70s. Upper 70s for your Monday under a mostly cloudy sky. And then it gets hot out there. Upper 80s Tuesday under a mostly cloudy sky.
You can't leave without cuddles, but you also can't leave covered in hair. With Bounce Pet, you can cuddle and brush that hair off. Bounce, it's the sheep.
This summer, savor that longest-lasting bowl of chowder, that longest-lasting fireworks show, and that longest-lasting vacation. And now, at the Toyota Summer Sales Event, savor that great deal from the longest-lasting brand. You could get a select, well-appointed, and luxurious all-wheel drive Highlander with 4.75 for $60, which could save you up to $2,100. Plus, get 2 years no-cost maintenance. Savor the summer and see your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Angler's Restaurant with 2 locations in Newport and Searsport. Open daily from 11 to 8. We are your home for fresh seafood. Our specialty is scallops, lobster, fish and chips, and of course, lobster rolls. Now, if seafood is not your preference, we offer fan favorites like cheeseburgers and chicken tenders. Stop by for the atmosphere and stay for the incredible dining experience. Anglers, Maine's family seafood restaurant.
Harvey RV and Marine's new marine building is now open on Broadway in Glenburn. Over 150 boats on site, including fishing boats, pontoon boats, and jet boats. Great brands like Princecraft, Avalon, Lund, Manitou, and Scarab. Whether you'll be cruising with family, fishing with friends, or speeding through waves, Harvey RV and Marine has the perfect boat to elevate your fun. Visit their showroom or shop online. Harvey RV and Marine, Outer Broadway, Glenburn.
Now is the time to stop by Rebecca's for their retirement sale. Great prices and a fantastic selection of gifts for the entire family. Rebecca's in downtown Bangor.
Israeli tanks are advancing deeper into the Gazan city of Rafah. The move comes as Hezbollah terrorists fire additional rockets from Lebanon into northern Israel. Fox News correspondent Trey Yingst has the latest from Tel Aviv.
Tensions along the Israel-Lebanon border are boiling. Hezbollah retaliating with its single largest rocket barrage in a day after Israel killed a top Hezbollah commander this week. Hundreds of rockets, along with dozens of attack drones, were launched from southern Lebanon as the Iran-backed group vows to escalate the ongoing conflict.
We will increase our operations in intensity, force, quantity, and quality, and let him wait for us in the field.
Israeli airstrikes have pummeled southern Lebanon in recent days, going after Hezbollah strongholds and rocket launching positions. Efforts are ongoing to reach an understanding with Hezbollah to avoid the situation unraveling into a larger war, but time is running out.
Whether through diplomatic efforts or otherwise, Israel will restore security on our northern border. Israel will respond with force to all aggressions by Hezbollah.
Reports indicate that American officials are urging the Israelis to use restraint and not escalate the ongoing conflict, although with fires raging across northern Israel and no end in sight for the war in Gaza, Israeli officials could launch a larger offensive action without the blessing of their U.S. allies.
You see the conflict in the north of Israel continue to reach concerning levels, and we want to tackle all of those issues, and the best way to do that is through a ceasefire.
With major developments in the north, Israeli forces continue to operate on the southern front in Gaza. Those soldiers are getting closer to the main humanitarian zone, but aren't striking it. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Donald Trump returns to Capitol Hill. It's his first visit since a mob of his supporters tried to overtake the Capitol building on January 6th of 2021. The former president, who is now a convicted felon, but also the likely Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential election, met with House and Senate Republicans on Thursday. He's expected to deliver remarks about a range of campaign issues, including mass deportations and tax cuts.
Well, in the midst of what some business experts call a retirement crisis, it looks like more and more Americans could be working later on in life. According to the latest data from the Census Bureau's survey of income and program participation, 49% of adults between the ages of 55 and 66 had no personal retirement savings back in 2017. And Dr. Joelle Sad-Lessler of the Stevens Institute of Technology says the situation doesn't appear to be any better now. She identifies a switch back in the 80s where many companies went from pension systems to 401ks.
A new investment vehicle that was created where it was part of the tax code where they said, listen, if you save money for retirement, we're not going to tax you for that. And so a lot of companies are like, you know what? This sounds great for us.
She says 401ks have put greater burdens on workers to have to manage their own financial futures, adding it only seems to benefit Americans with higher incomes who have enough money to actually put some away. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, especially in these days of higher prices. So it's hard to put anything away for savings, for retirement. People like me, who knows what your generation is going to do, but there's no way I'm going to retire in my 60s probably.
Right. I don't know what people on fixed incomes are doing, or there hasn't been a cost of living adjustment for a lot of folks either.
Yeah.
All right, coming up on the second half of the newscast, after several decades of service, the ship called the State of Maine is on what could be its final journey. We'll check in on their midpoint off the coast of Spain.
That and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Subaru summer is finally here. Buckle up for an unforgettable summer in a brand new Subaru Outback. Buy with 1.9% financing. It's your Subaru. Find it at Quirk.
Refine, your local expert in window and door installation, carpentry repairs, and commercial facilities management. At Refine, we're proud to offer Maine-made Paradigm windows crafted with care and precision to ensure quality and durability like no other. From quaint cottages to bustling businesses, let us refine your space with our signature Maine-made touch. Trust Refine to exceed your expectations every time. Contact us today and let Maine craftsmanship elevate your home or business. Rise with Refine.
This is the moment to make this summer the summer at Quirk Mitsubishi. Drive home with 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and 0 down. The moment is now.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, June 14th, 2024, and it is also Flag Day.
Today's holiday commemorates the adoption of the American flag by the Continental Congress in 1777. The first flag featured the same 13 red and white stripes we see today, but the number and arrangement of stars have changed as the number of states increased over the years. In fact, there have been 27 variations in flag designs over the years.
27 in all, and it keeps changing over the years. By the way, today is not a federal holiday, so all the post offices, that sort of thing, are open for the day.
Yeah, that's easy peasy on a Friday. It's good for us procrastinators over here.
Right here, too. All right, time for some history on this day in history. Back in 1834, Isaac Fisher Jr. patented sandpaper in Springfield, Vermont. I'd like to know a little bit more about his story. Why did he do it?
Why did you need that?
Was he a carpenter? What's going on with him?
Yeah.
However, the first documented sandpaper actually appeared in China during the 13th century, where crushed seashells were bonded to parchment paper during a highly sophisticated process.
I wonder how he created the bond. That's interesting.
Yeah, I like all of that. I like learning how they do that.
Right.
So,
right.
All right, in 1919, John Alcock and Arthur Whitten Brown set out on the first nonstop flight across the Atlantic. They took off in a biplane from St. John's, Newfoundland, and arrived in Ireland 16 and a half hours later.
Somebody had to be the first, but that's scary. And a little biplane over the whole ocean.
And I guess it was like an old bomber too that they retrofitted for this trip, an old biplane or something.
You hear about things going wrong with
Well, you
those all
think
the
about
time.
it, it's an open cockpit. You're flying up high.
It's cold.
16 hours. Yeah, that was quite a trip for that.
Yeah.
So, in 1940, German troops began entering Paris during World War II on this day, and it was on the same day that the Nazis began transporting prisoners to the Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland. In 1943, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that public school students could not be forced to salute the American flag.
Yeah, it's free speech.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, in 1954, President Eisenhower signed a measure adding the phrase "under God" to the Pledge of Allegiance. I think I learned this last year when we had Beyond This Day in History. I think a lot of folks didn't know that that hasn't always been in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I thought it was always part of it.
Right.
But,
yeah. In 1959, the Disneyland monorail system opened to the public in California. It was the first daily monorail system in the Western Hemisphere. Disney World in Orlando got their own monorail system in 1971. And what I would give for us to have even just like basic Amtrak be able to come up to Bangor.
Go down the station, catch a train down to Boston or something like that for the
I'd be
weekend.
going places all the time.
Yeah.
Amtrak tickets are much more affordable than plane tickets.
Talk to your lawmakers. It's been proposed, but you know it's a lot of money. They'd have to change the tracks, retrofit. I mean, it just goes on.
It would take a while for it to be done.
And a ton of dough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1993, President Bill Clinton nominated Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. In 2005, Michelle Wie became the first female golfer to qualify for an adult male U.S. Golf Association championship. That came after she tied for first place in a 36-hole qualifying tournament.
For birthdays today, we have actress Lucy Hale, who is 35 years old today. Actor Will Patton is 70. He's one of my favorite character actors out there. And former President Donald Trump is 78 years old today. So happy birthday to all of them.
What has Will Patton been in?
You just name it. He was like in Armageddon,
Oh.
and I mean the list goes on and on and on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll do a search in a minute, and you can look at dozens of films and
Yeah,
everything.
I'm ignorant to his success.
Yeah, you recognize him though.
Yeah, happy birthday to them. Moving right along now, it's going to be kind of cloudy.
Yeah, cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms today, but it looks like things will be brightening up as we head towards Father's Day.
Cool. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Already, a small crowd advisory remains posted until around 11 p.m. this evening along the coast here because of active surf that will be expected with gusty winds that will be picking up today with a system that will be passing through. Thankfully, no fog to worry about this morning. We've been watching that the last few mornings, and thankfully this morning we are looking pretty good. Radar and satellite is showing some rain tracking from the southwest going to the north and east from last night early this morning. We'll be watching for more showers and thunderstorms that will enter the picture later on today and especially this afternoon. And some of those this afternoon could get on the stronger side, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. More of that coming up in your full forecast. But for now, we're watching showers and storms in some parts of the northeast, tracking from the west and going toward the east. And again, as we get the daytime heating going, more of these storms will be firing. So again, some showers possible today, more storms possible this afternoon to early evening. Notice though we lose the activity overnight, but maybe a small chance for a shower along the coast as we head towards early Saturday morning. The winds will be active out there today out of the southwest at around 10 miles per hour or higher at times. Some gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour can't be ruled out. Winds calm down tonight, but they might pick up a little bit for the daytime tomorrow. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing showers and thunderstorms possible. Temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you very much, Devin.
Well, in May, the training ship State of Maine set sail for what may be its final voyage after nearly 3 decades of service.
Now at the midpoint of that journey, our David Ledford checked in with the crew as they make their way around Spain.
Just finished a 4-day port call in Santa Cruz de Tenerife, and now we're on our way to Palma de Mallorca.
Maine Maritime Academy students are now sailing the training ship State of Maine through Spanish waters for its 27th expedition, and they say it's going swimmingly.
It is a great experience. What other schools except for maritime academies get to travel around the world with 200 of your best friends for an entire summer?
On each voyage, both students and teachers say they take away something new. But on a trip like this one, the experience really hits home.
Those little moments where they realize whatever they learned in the classroom finally clicks. It's fantastic. That's why you do a job like this.
You're learning just like the basic skills of like living on a ship, working in an engine room, different technical skills as well, skills and knowledge of how different machineries work, like different machines work.
And those who have watched the students grow over the years say the hands-on experience prepares the next generation of mariners for a life at sea.
The students are future engineers on vessels and in industry. This is a working laboratory, and so being down there amidst the noise and the heat and the running machinery, you can notice when things are happening in real time.
The Academy will receive a new training vessel by early 2025, but Maine Maritime Academy representatives say there's a chance that crews will sail the state of Maine again if the replacement doesn't arrive in time.
It's kind of sad to see it leave, but it's also a good feeling.
If this is the last one, I'm grateful to have been a part of it.
The crew will return home in mid-July. In studio, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Cool.
Yeah, well, keep you updated on that. We'll keep checking back in with them. Hopefully it goes well.
I know. It's crazy how that boat will probably just get sold and somebody else will probably use it.
Yep.
All right, still to come here this morning, Tyler Cruz will have the latest with sports.
Don't go away.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave's like, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Now get a low $269 per month lease on Rogue.
I called Joe Bornstein's office for a free case evaluation. They helped me with a car accident. I was injured, and so was my dog. They helped me with getting my vet bills reimbursed, my medical bills reimbursed, and going above and beyond, doing more than I had ever expected. They were kind, pleasant, and understanding through it all. The law offices of Joe Bornstein made the process so easy, I would absolutely recommend them.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Protect your vehicle from rusting away with Bell's Automotive Protection. We are the leader in mobile undercoating and rust proofing in Maine. We'll travel right to your driveway using the best and safest products on the market. This is much safer than rubberized coatings that can cause damage later on. We spray all types of vehicles, including commercial fleets. We all know vehicles aren't cheap anymore. Don't let the harsh winter chemicals eat them away. Call us or visit our page for a free quote. 207-659-3805.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Glenburn, is sponsored by University of Maine Early College, tuition-free online courses for high school students, umaine.edu/earlycollege. Old Town Redemption, offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. And Dill's Outdoors, now open at 2354 Broadway in Bangor, also offering pizza, beer, and more.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave's like, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Now get a low $269 per month lease on Rogue.
This June, it's the Summer of Stars as the U.S. hosts the world's best players for Copa America. USA, Bolivia, June 23rd on Fox.
After a roller coaster of a Game 3, the Boston Celtics are just one win away from raising Banner 18. Welcome back in, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. What a time to be alive. For the first time since Larry Bird, the Celtics have a 3-0 lead in the NBA Finals. The C's can clinch their 18th NBA championship in franchise history, the most in the NBA. Friday night in Dallas, Game 4 tip-off at 8:30 on ABC. The C's fell behind early yesterday, but broke open a 20-point lead before a huge late run by the Mavericks brought the game within a single possession. But thanks to the depth of the Celtics and some great clutch play from Jaylen Brown, the C's able to win 106-99. Brown had 30 points on the night, and earlier he said last year's loss to the Miami Heat has motivated him this postseason.
The team was relying on me. I mean, JT got hurt in Game 7, and I dropped the ball. So, you know, to me it was embarrassing, and it drove me all summer. It drove me crazy.
Love to hear that. Now it's time for another high school state championship preview. Nokomis softball is back-to-back Class B North champs, and they feel the adversity they faced this year could bring them their first gold glove. Ryan Sudol has more.
We have just like the best team mentality going into Saturday, and we're really, really excited to show what we can do.
For the second year in a row and in their history, Nokomis softball is heading to states as regional champions.
Being here with, all my friends, and they're like my family, so I'm super excited to have that opportunity again.
To win it 2 years in a row is really tough in this league. It really is. It is something really special.
Before their 14-game win streak, the Warriors were just 3-2, but they quickly realized the changes they needed to make, switching the underclassmen to the outfield and focusing on veterans in the infield.
Our young girls learned how to track fly balls like nobody's business. Our upperclassmen took a new position and ran with it. It really goes to show that we're here for each other. We're not here for personal gain.
Who didn't need changing was Mia Coots. We could talk about the all-star pitcher's mechanics and insane numbers all day, but just as big to her years-long success is her confidence.
Nobody's going to stop her, and that's her mentality, and I love to see it because it's super intimidating from the other side.
If I go out there and I know that I'm better than the batter I'm facing, then my girls have no fear. I don't care what their stats are.
Now the Warriors prepare for South champs York in a rematch of last year's Class B title game, which they lost, their first loss of that season. With that and this year's losses, they now know how to lose.
That loss allows them to feel the little bit of want. Going undefeated is kind of dangerous because you don't know what it feels like to get behind. And now we've been behind in games. These type of situations have only helped the team.
And handling that adversity could lead to the ultimate reward, the team's first ever gold glove.
I would love to do that my last year here at Nokomis, last sport ever. It would be really amazing.
I bleed burgundy through and through, and so it would really mean everything to bring something back to my community.
In Newport, I'm Ryan Sudol, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Ryan. Been fun watching the Warriors this season. Staying with high school state championships now, the day we've all been waiting for is on Saturday. Baseball and softball finals going on around Maine. Let's take a look at our schedule. Starting with softball, Oxford Hills from the north takes on Cheverus. That's at 1 p.m. at Central Maine Community College in Auburn. York and Nokomis, a rematch from last year's state championship. That's at 12:30 at the University of Southern Maine. Bucksport and Halldale play at 3:30 at Keswick Field at UMaine, and then North Yarmouth and PVHS at 4 p.m. also at Southern Maine. To baseball now, Messalonsky and Scarborough, 1 p.m. at Morton Field in Augusta. Class B, Yarmouth versus Caribou, 4:30 p.m. at the University of Southern Maine. Bucksport and Sacapee Valley, both Class C games are at the University of Maine. Bucksport baseball plays at 1 p.m. at Mahaney Diamond, and then Class D is St. Dom's versus Stearns. That's 1 p.m. at the University of Southern Maine. Wishing all of our athletes the best of luck. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping us save more money on prescription drugs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, our drug premiums are zero, and our out-of-pocket costs are low.
I enrolled and I'm saving money. If you're single and make less than $23,000 a year, or are a married couple making less than $31,000, you may qualify and save, even if you don't think you qualify. It pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp.
Febreze. Hi, I use Febreze Fade Defy Plug.
And I use this.
Febreze has a microchip to control scent release, so it smells first day fresh for 50 days.
50 days?
And its refill reminder light means I'll never miss a day of freshness. Febreze Plug.
Central Maine Barns and Sheds, quality products built right here in Newport with a strong attention to detail. We have an incredible selection of pre-made options and would be more than happy to custom build a unit specifically for you. Central Maine Barns and Sheds has financing options available, including a rent-to-own program. We provide free delivery and setup within a 30-mile radius of any of our locations. Check out our full inventory at centralmainbarns.com or call for more information, 368-6177.
Spring is here, and so are the savings at the Furniture Gallery. Relax with a reclining sofa and recliner for only $9.98. Opening up camp, queen mattresses starting at $188, and sleeper sofas starting at $5.98. Power lift recliners also starting at $5.98, or save $100 on medical grade lift recliners. All Flex Steel now 10% off, and all Bombasset bedroom sets 20% off. It's easy to buy at the Furniture Gallery with 18-month 0% interest financing. The Furniture Gallery.
I have prepared a Thomas's breakfast for you to savor together.
Thanks, Tom. Hey, are English muffins from England?
Heavens no. They're from the pantry.
Are you from England?
Nay, I am also from the pantry. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Devin Dagnall, joined by Apollo Amateur Show semifinalist and Glenburn vocalist Krista Jakacki. Good morning, and how are you doing?
Good morning. Well, thank you, Devin.
You had a pretty impressive couple days here, or I should say a pretty impressive Wednesday night. What happened?
Well, I drove to New York City and competed on Amateur Night at the Apollo in Harlem.
That's nothing to slouch out. The Amateur Night at the Apollo is the longest running variety or talent show here in the country. It's been going on for 90 years now. How does it feel to be part of that kind of legacy? And not only that, just a performer, you made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, that was unexpected. That was totally unexpected.
How does it feel?
A little overwhelming.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. The crowd at the Apollo is a notoriously harsh crowd. You were telling me.
They are. Yes.
They're known to boo some of the performers off stage. You said before your performance, you actually watched them boo someone off stage.
I did. Yes.
A little nerve-wracking.
That was terrifying.
Tell me about it.
Well, I didn't think he was that bad.
You didn't think he was that
No.
bad, and he got booed off
He
stage,
did.
and you were actually the last performer.
I was the last singer.
You were the last
Yeah,
singer.
there was one dance act after my act.
Okay. So what was your mindset going into that? How do you think you did?
I did as well as I could under the circumstances. You know, I was under a lot of stress and allergies and not much sleep, but yeah, I could have done better, but I did as well as I could.
Could have done better. I watched the video and it seemed like the crowd loved you. After all, you placed second in the semifinals. And I'll tell you what, why don't we take a look at that clip right now?
I was born, just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time.
Look at that. They loved you.
I guess they did.
How are you feeling next week? You're back in New York for that semifinal.
More overwhelmed?
More overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you changing anything up? How are you approaching this?
I am doing a different song.
Okay.
I didn't really want to, but I had to choose a different song because another finalist had already chosen that song. So.
What goes into what you pick for these songs?
The advice I'm given from my friends and family and supporters, you know, whatever suits my voice best and my personality best. So that's what I picked.
And you're no stranger to singing. You've been singing since you were 6 years old.
6 years old, yeah, it was my first show.
How does it feel to, what would you tell that 6-year-old girl all those years ago that, hey, someday you're going to be performing at the Apollo and you're going to be one of the best acts there?
I would have told her to go sooner. Don't wait till you're 50.
Does it feel like after all those years, all that work, all that time, all that dedication is finally paying off?
Yes, I guess. But then again, I don't know that I ever was looking for a payoff. Not now, anyway. Maybe when I was younger, but.
Okay. Well, where can people find you on social media? We're going to have a GoFundMe up on our page later today, so you guys can support Krista as she goes to the semifinals. Where can people find you?
It's at Krista Grace Main on all channels.
Krista Grace Main. Okay, we'll have that on our website, Fox Bangor, later today. For now, let's send it over to Devin Biggs for your forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Alrighty, here we go. Small crowd advisories up along the coast until 11 p.m. this evening because of active surf that will be expected with gusty winds that will be picking up across the region today. Wave heights are already showing that they're active out there at around 3 to 4 feet. We might see see these increase just a little bit more as we'll be watching for gusty winds that will be moving in, and some of those stronger storms that could be on the way later today as well. But for now, though, we're just seeing some showers across the northern parts of the state. More activity off toward the west. We'll have showers passing through this morning into parts of the afternoon. And then some stronger thunderstorms possible late afternoon as well. Some of those could produce some gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours with them as well. But for now, just watching showers and a few rumbles of thunder in the northeastern parts of the U.S. Other areas across the Midwest seeing showers and storms developing this morning. A lot of this tracking from the west to the east, and some of this from the northwest to the south and east as well. But for now, though, Futurecast showing showers possible for us this morning. And again this afternoon, some storms possible during the afternoon period with the daytime heating. We'll hold on to the clouds overnight as the showers and storms back off. A slight chance for a shower as we head towards early Saturday morning, but notice so we get that and the clouds out of here pretty quickly, and the rest of Saturday looking like a very nice day. And then once we head towards Saturday night, under a mostly clear sky, so Saturday night looks to be rather peaceful. Otherwise, though, there's the storm chances coming in later this afternoon. The green area indicates a marginal threat for the storms to turn strong to severe, so a 1 out of 5 risk. The yellow shaded area is a 2 out of 5 risk or a slight risk for storms to turn strong to severe. So again, gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours are possible in these areas coming up today. Otherwise, though, rainfall could also be a thing as well. Some spots could possibly reach up to a half an inch before we're all finished up, while other areas maybe not as much, maybe a quarter of an inch or less possible before we're all finished up. The rain will be scattered in nature today. Otherwise, though, we will have moisture for the rain to work with as well. Dew points today. It'll feel a little humid out there at times with dew points reaching to the 60s, maybe getting close to the 70s at times. Will improve for the weekend. Then once we get towards next week, here we go again. Dew points back in the 70s possibly yet again, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. So a forecast coming up for today, upper 70s, scattered strong to severe thunderstorms. Can't be ruled out. The threat not very high, but we'll have to keep an eye on it with hail and some gusty winds and heavy downpours possible. And at south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour at times. By tonight, some thunderstorms possible early, then becoming mostly cloudy with lows in the upper 50s and the wind becoming light and variable. And for tomorrow, here we go. Highs in the mid 70s. Some isolated morning showers can be ruled out. Otherwise, partly cloudy. It gets better later into the afternoon. The north wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour. All right, let's check out that extended forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth. On Father's Day, mostly sunny, highs in the mid 70s. Upper 70s for your Monday under a mostly cloudy sky. And then it gets hot out there. Upper 80s Tuesday under a mostly cloudy sky.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
In 10 years, Lisa Schneider will have an amazing second act, thanks to career reskilling courses from AARP to help make sure her income lives as long as she does. The younger you are, the more you need AARP.
I'm adding Downy Unstoppables to my wash. Now I'll be smelling fresh all day long. Still fresh.
So fresh.
Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection. Try for under $5.
Every time you shop at Hannaford, you help us promote inclusivity, opportunity, and a sense of belonging in every store. You help us build a culture where leaders reflect our diverse communities, where veterans forge new career paths, and where our employees and neighbors alike can find their voice. Together, we're not just feeding families, we're strengthening communities. Hannaford Supermarkets, greater than groceries.
The furniture revolution continues at Dorsey's, and today it's all about sectional sofas. Big sectionals, little sectionals, reclining sectionals, sectionals with hide beds, chaise lounges, even cuddlers. Heck, we even have sectionals with dog beds. When qualified buyers combine our great sectionals with 24-month 0% financing, they're easy to own too. The sectional revolution is in full bloom at Dorsey's, so what are you waiting for?
Be comfortable, my friends.
The truth is out there, and if it's about aliens, are they spies like us? A new study by Harvard University's Human Flourishing Program speculates that unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UFOs, may be spaceships visiting alien friends planted on Earth, who are disguised as humans just trying to fit in. The study examines 4 different alien theories, including technologically advanced ancient human civilizations, advanced non-human ETs from the future, and magical crypto-terrestrial creatures. Never said that word before. The study says aliens could either live among us or be underground or be on a base inside the moon. The study about concealed aliens hasn't been peer-reviewed yet.
So who knows? And this is coming from Harvard.
Very convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're even talking about it.
Yeah.
But no, I like this. It's an easy excuse for some people who seem a little off.
I think I've met a few aliens around here before.
Right.
So.
You never know.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like we're about out of time. That's it for us this morning. If you missed anything, you can head to foxbangor.com.
An early happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yes.
We hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Today, on 25 Words or Less, he appeared on the Battle of the Network Stars with such luminaries as... well, I don't recognize any of these names.